Jetstar flight JQ279 from Wellington to Queenstown on Friday the 1st of November 2019 on an Airbus A320 departing at 8:35 a.m, 1 hour and 20 minute flight time. Jetstar is Qantas's budget airline. I don't fly it very often because its fleet in New Zealand is quite small, so when things go wrong there aren't other planes to wheel out of the hangar. But here we are! So let's see what the Jetstar experience is all about. When we booked these flights we got seats, a bag and a $10 in-flight food credit. Carry-on baggage is included in the seat price. We checked in online, so when we got to the airport we went straight to the bag drop. The first obvious sign that this is a budget airline is the very large orange sign advising you to weigh your carry-ons. A major flaw in this scheme is that the self-weighing scales aren't working. I've seen people standing at gates nearly in tears as they're forced to go back and check in luggage, so I'm a little bit anxious about this, but I know I'm underweight, so I'm fine. I'm fine. The bag drop feels an awful lot like a conventional check-in. There's a person and they push some buttons and they do some beeps and then our bag disappears. Jetstar ground crew have a ton of jobs to do. They check you in, they go to the gates and herd you on. It's not an easy job, and this human was a total keeper, friendly, efficient and super competent. We were boarding at gate 21, which is at the northern end of the terminal. Wellington Airport has a single terminal for both domestic and international flights. Most of the Air New Zealand domestic departures are at the southern end. Jetstar is lumped in with the internationals at the northern end, shoehorning in arrivals and departures for both domestic and international into that small footprint at the northern end has made for a bunch of layout compromises, which create a series of choke points which feel super congested even though the place could be half empty. It just adds to that anxiety people get when they travel. Wait, what did she say?
Oh no!
Uh-oh, how fast did we have to finish our coffee?
How many minutes till you get grumpy?
About 2.
2? Okay, we've got 2 minutes, okay.
So we drank as much as we could as fast as we could and pitched the rest. And then the helpful and friendly ground crew scanned our printed home boarding passes and we made our way along the air bridge and onto our plane. Passengers at the front of the aircraft boarded through the air bridge, passengers at the rear boarded through the rear stairs, which decreases aircraft turnaround times. We were sitting middle in window and of course aisle had got there before us, it's always the way. They obligingly hopped out of their seat while we shoehorned our way in, and I mean shoehorned. The additional row of seats that Jetstar adds in order to keep their prices low means that everyone's a little bit more squished in.
If not anytime, need any assistance. Thank you and enjoy your Jetstar flight shortly bound for Queenstown.
Hello everyone and welcome to Jetstar flight 279 to Queenstown. Our flight time will be 1 hour and 9 minutes. A friendly reminder that smoking or the use of e-cigarettes is not permitted on board. Please ensure that your electronic devices are now in flight mode.
Notice of this, they do it for your benefit, not theirs, in case of any unforeseen emergencies. Once again, welcome on board. We'll be underway shortly.
Cabin crew, please, and doors.
We pushed back 8 minutes early and taxied for 10 minutes.
The seatbelt sign above you will be illuminated whenever you must have your seatbelt fastened. Smoking is not permitted anytime, anywhere on board the aircraft.
We departed from gate 21 from the northern end of the terminal and taxied up to runway 16 and took off towards the south. This is a little bit unusual as the prevailing wind in Wellington is the northerly. Wellington Airport has just over 100,000 flights each year, which works out to just over 276 flights a day, or one flight roughly every 5.25 minutes. So depending on the time of day, you might see a few other aircraft movements, or you might see nothing at all. We took off to the south, turned to the right, and then we tracked towards the southwest off the east coast of the South Island. So how was the snack? As I mentioned earlier, we pre-purchased a $10 in-flight credit. There was quite a lot to choose from on the in-flight menu. I would have thought they'd have more success if they had $5, $10, $15 and $20 bundles where you could get little collections of food for set price points, but they didn't. Everything was randomly priced and you had to kind of assemble stuff yourself. So we pulled our resources and we got a fizzy drink, a banana loaf, 2 cups of tea and some cheese and crackers. Let's see how they were. For the soft drink, I got Pepsi Max. Turns out I wasn't all that thirsty, so I took it home with me, along with the banana bread, which I ate later. Quite a limited selection of drinks. That's a 6, Jetstar. The banana bread was a little bit sticky on the outside and a little bit doughy on the inside, but warmed through with butter on it. Yum. It's a 7. Some assembly was required for the cup of tea. You got a tea bag, a cup of hot water, and a little thing of milk. At altitude, the boiling point of water is slightly lower, so the tea doesn't diffuse quite as fast, but it did come out okay. A nice hot cup of tea, made exactly how I like it. 6 out of 10. Nice one, Jetstar. I didn't need a stir stick because there's a little bit of turbulence. I went to try a cheese on cracker, but my wife had eaten them all. That's how yummy they were. She said they were good. They were a 7 out of 10. Okay, let's sum up the snacks as we fly over Lakes Avamore and Waitaki. Cold beverage was a limited range of soft drinks, water and juices. It's a 6. Banana bread was sticky but warm and delicious. It got a 7. Hot beverage was a do-it-yourself cup of tea. That got a 6 out of 10. Cheese and crackers that my wife ate, she gave it a 7 out of 10. That's an average of 6.5, which rounds up to 7. That's a pretty good snack for $20. Nice. Okay, onto the plane. This plane, VH-VGY, an Airbus A320, is just under 10 years old when we took this flight, and it's been owned by Jetstar since brand spanking new. It's configured with 180 economy class seats, and I was seated up near the front in seat 4A. We paid a few dollars to get near the front, but it got us on and off faster. 30 rows of seats is one more than what most airlines put into an A320, and that means the seat pitch, or the distance between the back of the seat you're sitting in and the back of the seat in front of you, is less than on most planes. On this plane, the seat pitch is 29 inches. In almost every other plane and every other configuration, the smallest seat pitch in economy is 31 inches. 2 inches or 5 centimeters is quite a lot when you don't have it. Although other budget airlines also have a seat pitch of 29 inches, or heaven forbid 28. It doesn't make it comfortable. I'm only 180 centimeters tall and my knees are almost touching the seat in front. It made it very difficult to get my bag in and out from the underseat storage in front, and tricky to get in and out of my seat at the beginning and end of the flight, and on a longer flight it would be almost impossible to get out to go to the loo. And while we're on the seats, they were a little bit hard and uncomfortable. I guess the padding's thinner to help them squeeze us in. The overheads were standard size, but because you couldn't get so much under your seat, and a lot of people fly with carry-on only because you have to pay for baggage, they were pretty full. This plane definitely sees a lot of traffic. I mean, nothing was broken, but everything felt a little bit tired and worn, and it was medium clean. So a 10-year-old plane with a low seat pitch, which is decidedly average, that gets an average score, 5 out of 10. Ouch. We track to the southwest over the centre of the South Island, and then we do this little wiggle and come into Queenstown Airport from the northeast. The left-right-left on descent is to get us through this valley, and then lined up on final approach with the runway, which makes for some great footage out the window. Queenstown Airport has 2 runways, but only one that can take an A320. We'll land on runway 23 to the southwest and then taxi over to the terminal.
Queenstown, and thank you for flying with us today. On behalf of Captain Gavin McDonald and all of us, it's been a pleasure having you on board. Today we will exit through the forward and rear doors. Please follow the directions of our team, and for your safety remember to leave steady on the stairs and hold onto the handrail. Before you head off, double check you have everything with you.
It's a big airport.
Disarm doors. We haven't stopped rolling. We taxied for 3 minutes. We pulled up at gate 5 at 9:49, 6 minutes ahead of schedule. Queenstown Airport has just shy of 42,000 flights a year. That's 114 flights a day, or one every 12.5 minutes. That's busy, but not hugely busy, which is lucky because I've got one runway with turnarounds at the ends. We disembarked the plane using both front and rear steers and then walked across the apron to the terminal. Despite my slightly shambolic camera work, it was a very orderly and straightforward affair. As we were disembarking, this plane to Auckland was boarding. There was a section on the outdoor walkway where the disembarking and boarding passengers were walking along together with no divider. After going through the arrivals gate, we made our way to baggage claim. The terminal at Queenstown Airport is quite small, but the arrival gates and baggage claim feel like they're at opposite ends of that small terminal. So we wove our way past the shops and the rental car counters to baggage belt 1 of 1. Our bag was already on the belt. That was efficient. So we grabbed it off and made our way outside. The airport's not that big, so it didn't take us long to find the taxi stand, but on the way we did take a wee moment to appreciate the beautiful place we're in.
Taxi?
Okay, let's sum up on our drive into town. The $20 snacks, soft drink, banana bread, cups of tea and cheese and crackers got a 7, and the plane, which was decidedly average, got 5. So the trip average is 6 out of 10, which feels about right. So that was okay, Jetstar. We got here. Thanks. Please subscribe and watch every single video we ever make.